Hello writers! This week we're going to be working on writing letters. We're going to be writing friendly letters. What you're going to need for today is you're going to need some paper, a pencil, and an eraser. I have lined paper, but that's not necessary. You don't have to have lined paper. You could just have a blank piece of paper. You could have white paper. Whatever paper you have around is good. So pause the video and get your paper and your pencil. Okay, so we saw in the Brain Pop video that the first thing that we have here is the heading, and that said that we would write like our name and our address. For this week we're not going to do all that, but we are going to start with the date. Okay, so we are going to start with today's date. So today's date, we're going to write out the whole thing, is February 8th, 2021. Go ahead and write that. After that, we're going to skip a line. And by the way, in this video, at any time, you can always pause the video if I'm going too quickly and you need more time. After that, we're going to do our greeting. So we're going to skip a line and we're going to write the word dear. And dear is going to be in capitals, capital D, and then the rest is E-A-R. And then we're going to write who you're going to write it to. So take a minute and think, who do you want to write a letter to? It could be somebody in your family, somebody right at home. It could be a friend. It could be a family member who doesn't live with you. It could be anybody you want. I'm going to write to my friend Lisa. She doesn't live here. She lives in New York City. But I'm going to write her. So I'm going to write, Dear Lisa, and then I do a comma, because that's how the greeting goes. So I want you to write dear and whoever it is in a comma. You can pause the video after that. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to write the body of our letter. And the body of our letter is basically just the things that we want to tell whoever it is we're sending it to. So what do I want to say to Lisa? Dear Lisa, I'm going to say, hi. How are you? If you haven't seen them in a while, you might say, I miss you. If it's somebody in your house, maybe I miss you doesn't really make sense. Hi, how are you? I'm going to say like I miss you because I do. I miss you. I'm going to do exclamation point for that. And then I'm going to then say whatever it is that I want to say. I'm going to tell her, I'm going to maybe ask her questions and then tell her what's going on in my life. So what might I ask her? Well, I might ask her, how is the weather there? And you don't have to copy what I'm writing. You can write whatever you want to write. How is the weather there? I'm going to say it is snowy here. So take a minute to write a couple sentences. You can pause the video to say what you want to say. I think other things I'll tell her about is I'll tell her how Jonathan's doing. Jonathan, oh guys, if you don't know, Jonathan is my son. He's 13 years old, and she has a son who's 13 years old, so we like to talk about them. And so I think I'm going to tell, what will I say? I'll say, Jonathan is really into rock climbing right now. Yeah. I could say that. I could also say, like, how I'm doing. I am fine. I am fine. What could I tell her? Last night I baked cookies. Last night I baked Chocolate chip cookies. They were delicious. Maybe now I'll tell her about Jonathan. Jonathan is really into rock climbing. He goes climbing almost every day. And I'm going to ask her how her son is. How is Ben? That's my letter. Take a minute, pause the video, and write whatever you're going to write to your friend or family member. Okay, so I'm done with my letter. Then at the end, we have a closing. And a closing is just how we're going to end the letter. You can end it a lot of different ways. You could, if it's somebody that you love, you can write love. You could write your friend, or you could write sincerely. I'm going to write love because, you know, I love my friend. She's like my really, really good friend. So I'm going to write love, but it goes over here. You skip a line. Love, and you do a comma. And then you write your name right underneath it. Kate. Now, if it's somebody that you don't know, you could write your last name, but Lisa knows it's me. Here's how you spell sincerely if you wanted to do sincerely. There's sincerely. And that's how you write a letter. I hope you had fun writing your letter. Letter writing is fun because you know what starts to happen is that if you send a letter to someone, chances are they might send a letter back to you.